CMMS Radio talks about all things CMMS, computerized maintenance management software, focused on maintenance management. It's the people, the process, and the culture that make your CMMS journey a success. There he is. You see him on screen. It's Alex Bolan. He is with Digital Thinker. And I don't know if any of you know this, but Alex Bolan himself is one of the members of what I like to call the Syndicate. These are our real deal pros. It's a small core network. It's going to grow a little bit, but I just want people to hear that in an episode, Alex, that I'm honored that you're part of the Syndicate. And what that's really about, folks, is real deal pros. And that really means people that get it. They've done so much of this that they really understand. They seek to understand the clients. They really do solve problems. And probably the most important component of someone that's in the Syndicate and what it really stands for is integrity. And I just wanted to shout that out a little bit for everybody, Alex. And it's really important to me that the right people are involved in this, because the role of the Syndicate is to be an available resource for people that are stuck, that need help, that don't know what to do. And they want to work with people that aren't going to just chase down their cash, but they're going to focus on the problem and actually solve it. So thank you for that. I'm a big fan of what you stand for. And hey, I also want to talk a little bit about Streamline, because that idea was born after the fact, because we had so many of those individuals on site, and the feedback's been constant ever since. And I'm excited for what we're going to be doing next with regards to Streamline. So, hey, first of all, welcome back to CMMS Radio. And what's the latest and greatest as it relates to, first, Streamline, anything that you can share? Second, I want to talk a little bit about Octave, because that's like super real now, and it's actually like it's moving forward, right? And then the third thing is I want to understand a little bit about Digital Thinker, because I think you have something new out here on the interwebs that you may or may not want to share.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you, man. Like, I know you and I have been talking about the Syndicate, not calling it the Syndicate, but this core group of resources for a while. So I'm real excited to see that it's moving, and I'm also honored to be a part of it. So thanks for doing that. Streamline. So here's what I can give out for Streamline. Streamline 2027 is going to be somewhere more in the middle of the country, in a state that is very proud of itself. Also home to your favorite football team of all time. And for those that can connect the dots, I'll let you do it. But stay tuned, because we will be announcing the venue, the date, the location. It's still going to be in February. You don't have to worry about that. It's going to be same time frame in February. So that's coming soon. And on top of that, we're going to have 3 other very large announcements, which I can go ahead and say at least one of them or 2 of them. So another big announcement on Streamline. We're taking Streamline to Denver, Colorado this year. Second week of October is what we're looking at right now, and it's going to be a 2-day intense, high-functioning workshop for the Octave, now Octave Attune EAM, formerly Hexagon EAM product component, right? So what we're trying to deliver out of this workshop is, again, focused topics on how we can enable the features or certain modules that are complex, maybe just people have a hard time implementing them. Insert your reason why, right? But we're going to focus on 8 core topics, and we're going to bring in experts like my friends at Stratum/Total Resource Management. They're going to come in and lead some of this. My other friend, Bob Keeley at IT Expert Hubs, they're going to come in and lead on some of this. We're also bringing in somebody brand hammer new to the scene that is totally agnostic to EAM. It's a company called Confluent, and they specialize in building meaningful and real, I should say, Power BI dashboards that serve a purpose. They're not here to just build a dashboard to build a dashboard like us, Greg. They're high integrity level, small business here in Greenville, South Carolina, but they are very much rooted in trying to make data make sense for their people. So that's exciting. Super thrilled. We're also taking Streamline to Europe, which, big deal alert, right? So we are working on finalizing Streamline Europe 2026. looking at November of this year. Date and location TBD, right? November timeframe, but we're still working out finalizing the location. And then also Streamline Europe 2027. And that is most likely going to be at the CERN facility in Geneva, Switzerland.
Yeah.
And that's going to be badass, man. Like, that's going to be so much fun. So we're hoping to not only announce all these things, I think June 1st, but we're also going to have registration open and ready for super early bird on June 1st. So
Nice.
if you haven't, right, go follow us on LinkedIn, follow the email chain. Obviously, Greg, I know you'll be pumping it out too, but
Oh, yeah.
it's going to be some really good stuff. This is also year 5 of Streamline next year, year 5. So
Yeah.
super cool.
Yeah. That's, and you know, what's really good about it, and just kind of popped into my head, it's year 5 for Streamline. That's a big deal. And you're going to a place where they do in fact have 5 rings. The Dallas Cowboys have 5 rings. Now let's be real about it. It's a lot of years of pain, and everybody with their various teams in the NFL suffer those moments of pain too. So I just wanted to make that connection, because if you're DC for life, that's all you got. You got to go back to the 90s, and you know, when everybody's like, yeah, you're bringing up old shit. But I think it's really exciting because it's a big change. It's middle America, and in a lot of ways, much easier for people to get to. Earlier this year, I know we had a private conversation. We might have shared it with somebody in the public about how we're going to cap it on the attendees as it keeps growing. So it'd be interesting if we could hit that number, because then you'd have 3 different 5s. And
yeah, that'd be crazy. I'm
excited for that. And I'm also excited for what you got going on up there in Denver, because we had talked about that a little bit before. And I wanted to have you talk about it so that I didn't, talk out of school or anything. But
no, you're good.
How about one of the things lately that I really want to start kind of toying with when we're on and we're talking is like what's jacked up in the industry. And obviously I want to use the other word, but I think it's a little bit better for everybody if I say jacked up rather than effed up. Because that's what we're talking about. We're not like bitching and moaning. What we're saying is, what's a struggle and what's messed up out there in this world we play in for what's so critical, to everyday operations, the maintenance aspect and all that. What do you think's jacked up right now? Is there like 1 or 2 things you could spit for us?
Dude, I haven't even told you about this yet, and I can't wait. Your reaction to this, you're going to love it. So I've been down this rabbit hole recently, and I guess you couldn't say it's the perpetual rabbit hole. I've been asking myself the same question I think we all have for a very long time, of like, why in the last, let's call it 60 years of maintenance and reliability. So I'm thinking post World War II, industrial era, where reliability really started to become a thing, right, in the like 60s and 70s, just, and all that other good stuff. How come nothing's changed? We're still battling reactive behavior in organizations, soaring downtime costs, reactive maintenance premiums on top of that. But it's been 60 years, longer maybe, of not only like these methodologies and these thoughts and the books, but we've also like solidified the data to prove that reliability is profitable, right? Like it is. It's not, maintenance is not just a cost center, but yet here we are in 2026 still trying to say the same message. Why has nothing changed? So I'll spare you the details on the crazy piece I went through. So this is the crazy piece. I did a lot of research on Einstein's theory of relativity. E equals mc squared. What does that mean? And this sounds like the cheesiest LinkedIn post in the world, because I was quite literally like, how can we use this equation to solve this problem? And I was looking at it from the wrong lens. But anyway, what I've kind of boiled down to is what's jacked up today, right? It's the same thing that has been for a long time. Maintenance is a cost center. Reliability doesn't really matter. It's also a maintenance task, but there's still this barrier from maintenance, reliability, plant level to C level, who keeps, nicking the budget, saying no, We don't see value here. There's still a disconnect. So, Mark, my buddy Mark LaPlante and I have been trying to figure this out for a while now. And I feel like I made a breakthrough recently. And so, obviously C-suite guys, dollars and cents. That's all they care about. And that's fine. That's their job. Especially if you're a publicly traded company, right? It's quarterly earning statements. Otherwise, if you can't make improvements, you're out the door. That's just how the world works. We need to accept that. We can't change those minds, nor can we change how the game is played, right? So if you can't beat them, join them, so to speak. But on the operator level or the tactical level, work still has to get done. Machines still need to keep running. Parts still need to lay in the bin. You can't hold a place together by bubblegum and duct tape. You just can't. So how do we fix this? And so what I've come up with, and this sounds like a crazy consultant idea, but I've cross-verified it with some very trustworthy folks. Every organization has a balance sheet, right? Or a profit and loss statement. Well, when we're looking at that, we're only looking at the known costs to us, right? We're just looking at the money we spent and how it's categorized. And that's it. It doesn't get any deeper than that. There's nowhere on the balance sheet that says missed revenue potential because of underperforming equipment, or missed revenue potential because of process issues or reactive maintenance. It doesn't say it on the balance sheet, because all it does is it gets rolled up under cost of goods sold. That's all it does. So, my crusade these days is, right, the three things that all organizations care about, in my opinion: maximizing OEE or TEEP, right? Asset availability, and is it operating where it needs to be? Priority number one, so we can hit throughput. Second is, are we also allowing the same availability for our people to operate the machines and create the things? And then third, are we giving them the proper tools or technology to meet the other two goals? It's that simple, right? It's those three things. Now, each layer has its complexities, but those are the three things, right? So we've developed a formula where we can come into an organization, and we did one exercise, and it was kind of mind-blowing, with a real company, cross-verified with CFO data, used their data. We didn't use any funny data or AI data. This was all hand-written math where their OEE perform. Yeah, what's up?
Shout out to Howard Penrose, because he would love the fact that you are not using synthetic data. That's for you, Howard.
Yeah, exactly. Integrity, right? We want this to be real. Yeah. Very real. I don't want anybody to look at this whenever we do this service or assessment or whatever, and them to be able to poke holes in it. I want to be truthful in what I'm telling you. So anyway, this organization, major retail distributor, very simple. It's just conveyors, and that's pretty much it. PLCs, very simple stuff. Their OEE is running at 58%, which is pretty abysmally low. And then we already know they're a 100% reactive organization. Well, we did the math, and industry standard, which is cross-verified by SMRP, academia, institutions that are credible, industry standard for retail distribution is about 82%. So let's do the math, right? Just the OEE gap. We identified that there's about $400 million of unrealized value, money left on the table every single year because their equipment performance is low. So what do we have to do to fix that? Well, we increase equipment availability. How do you do that? We do maintenance. So we put the math together in dollars and cents and in a language that a CFO can understand, which is honestly simple. It's not complex. I don't have a finance degree. I don't have a degree, period. And we slapped it in front of their desk and said, this is why you need reliability. This is why you need maintenance, because you're bleeding almost $500 million every single year due to poor performing equipment. We haven't even touched poor performing processes. That's the other $500 million you're leaving on the table every single year. What are you going to do about it? And the conversation from there was eye-opening, right? It was, okay, how do we fix it, guys? Well, we need to, start collecting data. We need tools and technology that can help us make good business decisions. We need to enable the workforce with, mobility capabilities for PM schedules or condition-based maintenance, or, insert all of these industry buzz terms that are today, but they're real, right? They have a purpose, they have a use. So we're trying to connect that. So when I say what's jacked up in the industry is still, we haven't changed. We haven't been able to clearly communicate or do it very well to the people that are making financial decisions that are saying maintenance doesn't matter. And we want to try to change that. All right. Maintenance matters. We want to not change minds, but we want to show, how do you increase your quarterly earnings statements? Do maintenance. It's that easy, right? Do maintenance and just start going from there. So it was a long-winded way, but that's what I'm seeing, man. And that's how we're trying to do it. That's how we're trying to stop that. That's how we're trying to help out. And I'm real excited about it because, like I said, we're finding real tangible, not only just savings, but like we're able to bridge how we're going to make this company more money every year for honestly pennies on the dollar investment for what they're giving to us to do this. So,
Well, and everything you said, so you're right. I've got a lot of reaction to this because one, I think all of us, and it's not just us, right? I don't want to leave anybody out. I think there are a lot of people out here across the world that know and understand this, and at some point they lose the fight. Like they don't want to try anymore. And that kind of stuff permeates throughout an organization. But what you really just described, and it really relates to something I'm getting ready to do in June too, is I'm doing this workshop at Reliable Plant Conference. By the way, anybody, if you haven't signed up to attend, I can get 10% off if you go to conference.reliableplant, CMMS 10, get there. But what you just described are also the key components necessary to make the case, to build the support. And one of the reasons it's so hard to make the case is not because you don't have the information and can tie it to that specific organization as to what their areas of need are, but it's tough to get the time where they're actually getting it because they're moving fast at the top and they're the ones with the power of the purse. So I like this idea you presented because if someday, some way, that could start showing up on many more balance sheets, if you will, they start to see it. And that's the thing we're always talking about. It's like, hey, if this CFO knew just a little bit more about what's buried inside of this line item, and he really understood the cut he's about to make or the thing he doesn't necessarily understand. And I want to be somewhat mindful, right? When they see that, they can then understand they're about to cut an investment in their own availability, their own profitability, because they don't, it's hard to see it that way. It's kind of like when the stock market's down, people are afraid to buy. That's when you load up. and
look, it's no different than, a plant that is in a 100% reactive state, right? Like it's just chaos. If you put yourself there mentally, it's just chaos, right? And you're burning from one fire to the next. That mindset doesn't change at the C-suite level, especially when a company is underperforming. It is just we're hunting for things to slash and get rid of to pad, the cushion. So not only we can survive, but even if it's not a reactive state, right? Like if we're just looking to cut costs and we start doing this stuff, you're right. Like we're setting ourselves up for failure. Joe Anderson talks about this a lot. So does George Williams, right? Like first things to go in a budget after specifically a really good performance year for a company, training. Usually the first thing to go out the door, right? Why? It's because it's a direct cost. I understand why. It's a direct cost, but it's an investment, yes, and it needs to pan out. But that short-term win is going to hurt us in the long run. And that's a whole nother battle, right? But that's how maintenance also gets treated, right? Like, because again, it just shows up under cost of goods sold. So all we're looking at, how do we reduce cost of goods sold by 20%? We'll take 10% for maintenance. We'll nix the training budget. We'll do away with, company parties for a little while, stuff like that. And that's where it stops. And so, trying to be an advocate for our people. And then, this whole exercise, I call it the invisible balance sheet. And the idea, right, is to make the invisible visible for these people. But it's not for me to go beat down a CFO's door. It's for me to talk to Mr. Maintenance Manager who sees it and understands it, but he can't communicate it well. Well, let me give you a tool that can help fight your fight, right? Like I want to help you as best as I can. And the best way for me to help you is give you the power, the knowledge, and the ammunition to go fight the fight and bring me in when you need backup, buddy, because I'll always be here. So anyway.
No, it's rock solid. I want to shout out another member of the syndicate. I already shouted out Howard. You shouted out Joe Anderson. You shouted out George Williams. Those cats are over at Reliability X. Howard is Motor Doc. He's the Rely Squatch. I love saying that, man, because he's the one. Brian Bieski and I, and
oh yeah,
Brian and I, we've done a lot of episodes as well. We've all hung out together. He and I were talking, and he brought up this concept of the chief maintenance officer that all of these orgs, the technology companies, as well as the companies that are producing things, they're out on the oil field, all this stuff, they need a chief maintenance officer because that person with that kind of, I'm going to say influence, can over a relatively short period of time, start leveling people up and also point out, hey, you forgot about this, this, and this. He's in the C-suite. He can make that better. He can help them start seeing, and I'm not saying necessarily Brian himself, but him or her, whoever the chief maintenance officer is. I think it's a brilliant idea, and I hope people will actually start to look at that. And what that really means, folks, in a general view that I learned from Brian, is that it has to be just a real one that actually gets it. And you're not just putting someone in there with the title. You got to put the right person in there as that chief maintenance officer, and you will definitely yield results if you let them be effective, right? And
Yeah.
none of this stuff is complicated. And I think organizations, they have this weird kind of self-deprecating need to be complicated, to operate in a complicated way.
That's just people, man.
Companies that have, large networks of sites, locations, and maintenance teams, or maybe they have partners, and they're just there. We're doing this and we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this, and they're just missing it over and over for 60 years and even more, right? Even if you don't have reliability, even prior to that, it's just people need to focus on their behaviors. You mentioned processes, and that at some stage, this was in our earlier discussion about processes can be changed, right? But the people in the process is where it all really happens. The technology is going to level us up. But I like this thing that you're presenting. I think we have to keep exploring and touting the invisible balance sheet, because that's where what you need to be doing is living, and you just have to see it. And it's not easy to see if you don't know how. It's not a spin.
And honestly, the tool is really good at identifying where you're hurting, but I'm really eager to find a company where I can come in here and do this with them, and we step back and say, "You're good. You don't need us, right? Like, you guys are operating where you need to be. Thanks for your time. Call me if you need me," right? Like, that's ultimately where I'd like to get with it. But
is that available for anybody? Like anybody? Like, it doesn't matter. The software is not a part of it. It's more about, hey, here's a tool to help you assess.
This tool is pure assessment. Anybody, any organization, it can fit any industry need. We talked about OEE gap. I know that's very specific to like manufacturing and machines, right? But I mean, I did this exercise for a maritime company. I did this exercise for an airline company. I've done it for a couple of different industries, and it translates really well. And it'll have some recommendations on technologies that can help you, right? But it's more focused on, here's where you're hurting, here's how we get there. So what are the processes or the next steps we need to get there to do this? And it boils down to like, okay, we need to do more maintenance, or we need to, be more proactive or fix our PM compliance. It's all designed to just self-assess, where can I tweak things? And if you use that tool and decide like, hey, right, like maybe I need EAM, great, obviously would love that, but that's not the purpose behind it. Is not an ulterior motive that says you can only have this tool to make it successful. And we've talked about this too, right? Like 80% of the CMMS EAM tools out there, they all do the same thing. It's all work order management, inventory control, people, asset depreciation. They can all do the same thing. And so you don't have to have one tool, right? But you can't fix anything if you don't know what's wrong, first off. And then you also don't know what your true needs are until you start fixing things and understanding that, man, I have a unique need here and this technology just doesn't serve that for whatever reason. And then you can start going down, okay, do we need to evaluate or not? How are we going to do this for me? And that's like my biggest recommendation to people, right? Is like, don't let salespeople try to tell you you have to have their product. It is what you and your business needs are. It doesn't matter if it's a CMMS or an EAM or an Excel spreadsheet. Shit, pen and paper. I mean, they were doing that pre-World War II just fine, right? Like, it's been done before. Not saying it's easy, but again, like to your point, it's people, process, technology. And anyway, I got real passionate about that. I'm sorry. I'm trying to come down from that.
Don't ever apologize for your passion, because it's more than passion. It's a legitimate caring, and that's why I talk about the integrity. And if anybody thinks I'm that's not, I'll tell you how real that is. Our people, if you want to call it that, whatever, not just the syndicate or anything like that, but people that really get this stuff and have that integrity, they make choices that cost them. They make choices that won't get them that big deal because they know that big deal is not the right deal. And that's hard for the big boys out there because they want to take everything that they can get a phone call with, a lead comes in and all that. And if you add that element, man, when you do the business right on behalf of the client, meet the client where they are. Your product should meet their processes. It shouldn't be them changing. That's what really matters, because now you have a client for long term. Forget all your bullshit stickiness and all that. We get it. We understand. We want that. But the only way you're supposed to do that is when the value's really there and it matters to the organization. And that's the kind of stuff that also irks us. Dude, Alex Bolan, I always love when we get to chop it up. And,
this took down a wild route, huh? That was fun.
That's what we want, because here's the thing. When you're out there, people, and you're talking to people, you want people that can just jump into this conversation right now. Not like, oh, what are the questions you're going to ask me? And, well, how do we prepare? We have, questions in advance. When you bump into someone out in the world and you find out that they work at, Acme Manufacturing, and you start talking to them, you don't say, okay, yeah, I'll get back to you. Yeah, I'll get back to you. Yeah, I'll get back to you. You have a real conversation, and that's what we need. That's what's missing. Hopefully the real conversations you hear all around this world are from people that actually care, that get it, and they're giving you the right guidance. I feel like you do that. You're all about it. I'm super excited about Streamline and the growth. I love what you're doing with Digital Thinker Incorporated.
Thanks,
and shout out on the one other new thing I was hoping you could share.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about Octave. Yeah,
no,
I can do that.
I'm talking about
the website.
Yeah. You
Dude,
got 3 minutes.
All right. So it's a website. It's like it's a cool website, but yeah, we recently updated our website, and I mean we threw the old one out and we built brand new from top to bottom. And we're really excited. The reasons we're excited about it is we wanted our website experience to be catered to, obviously, the person who's looking at it, but we wanted it to not be full of frills or fluff. You'll see some marketing language because it's just what you have to do these days to get on search indexes, which is really freaking annoying at the end of the day. But I mean, we have elements in there, right, that are supposed to be supposed to help you figure out, is there a product technology choice for me, and how does it pertain to me, right? More importantly, right, our newest message is we're really passionate about trying to bridge the divide between operations and maintenance, making those two teams talk together, work better, smarter together. And so that's why we've adopted other products under the Octave umbrella, Octave Operate umbrella, if you will. And so you can see some fun things there. We also, I'm proud of this because I wrote the code myself on it, but we have a downtime clock simulator on there, and it's a little unnerving. So you pick your industry, and then it just starts rolling by the second how much money you're bleeding for every second of downtime you occur. It's pulling industry standards, right? It's a little vague and generic, but the idea is to get you to start thinking and then bleeding into the invisible balance sheet. Well, if I'm losing this much money on downtime, where else am I losing money, right? How do I help fix this? So go to our new website, digitalthinker.com. Like I said, I had a heavy hand in creating it, so I'm super excited about it.
Yeah,
it's nothing frilly or fancy. It's pretty simple, but it looks good on the eyes, and it's got a lot of good information on it. So go check it out.
I gave you that feedback as soon as I got the preview, and I really like it. There's some strong colors in the way it was designed. It's a real level up. And hey, everybody, like Alex said, go to digitalthinker.com and you will see they are built on maintenance and they're driven by people. And that's not even a joke, man. That is real deal. And once again, Alex, thank you for being here with me on CMMS Radio.
Always.
Did you find this episode helpful? Please send us some feedback, suggest a topic, or ask a question. Reach out to CMMS Radio if you need a co-pilot on your CMMS project. Visit CMMSradio.com and use the What's on Your Mind link. Thank you for tuning in to CMMS Radio, your resource for all things CMMS, from selection to implementation, to help you make better choices, learn from industry experts, and have a successful CMMS journey.